Peace to the God and peace to the goddesses. This is In the Circle Ministries, our virtual YouTube ministry channel here, where we take things and put them up under the microscope. And I'm your host, Rico Blakeney. And as I said earlier, that we take things and put them up under the microscope, there's a scripture that also says that if thine eye be singular, then our body be full of light. And so with that concept, we take things and basically see them from our third eye or from our single eye, and we see things from a higher consciousness level. But by doing that, we're able to try things, the spiritual things by the spirit. We're able to take those things, put them up under the microscope, and see things in a way that you couldn't normally see with the naked eye or with the carnal eye. So you see these things from your spiritual eye and you can see things for what they are. And then once you see these things for what they are, you can adjust them and apply them into your life and get the results that you need. Whether if you need to discard some of the things that you took for truth or your perspective or your belief and found out that it wasn't fact while it was under the microscope, you can discard it. Or you can see it for what it actually is and you can apply it in your life and get the truth out of it. And with that truth, well, it brings about the things that it can contribute into your life. So with that, you can get rid of your truth if only um, get rid of your truth just to, in order so as you can have the truth. And that is the mission statement. That's what we do here to bring the truth to light as best as we can through my life and through my experiences. And so in a sense, and again, then these are the rules and regulations that make up the life of Rico Blakeney. That may not be right to you, and it may be different to you, but these are the rules and regulations that I go by. So here on this channel, I share my experiences. So there's anything you can glean or take from it and apply to your life, you can do it as well. And also, we call that whole process self mastery. On today's channel, well, on today's broadcast, um, I'm going to be working on the end. This is more so catered for the End of Circle University, which you can find that link in the description as well and how to get there. I did it. The last upload that I did was about the straw man for beginners, and we're going to go deep into detail today about the straw man, what its intentions for, what it was intended for, and how to work on your status correction. These are some of the things that I learned earlier in the 2018 about learning about the real uh, straw man in a sense and learning more about how and what it is for and how it operates. And so a lot of teachings were going around that time talking about capturing your straw man and how you could capture your straw man and tap into a TDA account and all these other things. But as I learned more and more about trust law and understood that um, that this, the straw man and the interaction are contracts, and contracts are just trust or expound upon contracts. Everything that we deal with inside of the world is all contract, whether it's individual people, from your job, if it's from the work that you do, if it's from getting your social security card, your birth certificate, you're getting an auto loan or getting a mortgage loan or getting a credit card loan, even going to McDonald's is a contract. There's all types and different variations of contracts. You know, you have unilateral contracts and you have bilateral contracts. And you have also, like I talk about McDonald's, implied contracts. Um, but most of the times, whenever we deal with the government or we're using the straw man to do things and getting assistance or accepting benefits through governmental um, agencies, whether if it's from the Social Security Administration, if it's from welfare, or if it's even from working a job. These are all going. You're going to find out that they're bilateral contracts, even with your mortgage and with credit cards, with purchasing a vehicle. They're all bilateral, meaning that it's one way all the way through. But everything we deal with is based off contract and deals with contract laws. And the Constitution also protects your right to contract unlimited, however, and whatever you want to. As long as the two parties can come into agreement with it, then that contract is enforceable by law as long as it's done and signed upon. And most of the time, you need both parties. But like I say in the mortgage, a lot of times if you watch your mortgage and look all the way through the paperwork from your mortgage, you'll see that you're the only one that signed. You may have the power of attorney, or yeah, something like your power of attorney or the lawyer that steps in between, and the notary. I didn't mean to say power of attorney, but the notary, um, maybe a lawyer, and also maybe your realtor agent. But the person you're actually dealing and contracting with, as for the mortgage company or the bank, they're not there. There's not even a representative for them to be there to sign it. Just mostly you signing over and agreeing to the terms and conditions that they're giving you. But not trying to go too far, too deep, and get too involved because there's a lot of reading. Because I want to show you some things and of actual things that you have in the private too. So with this, as I was saying earlier, this is also part of what they call capturing the straw man. But like I say, after learning more, it's more so a status correction and how you're correcting your status and separating yourself from the straw man and who you are as God. Um, you entered into this world as God and as a God, and um, the straw man was made as we seen in the last video that I done. It is a front. It doesn't even have any real life energy in it outside of you being a part of that contract and taking possessionary responsibility and obligation for it. But so before we get too deep into that, the straw man is what is converted into a U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen is still another status that is made up by the government to um, place the place things in. This is that um, when we talked about the straw man on the other video, this is where it can gain equitable interest at the same time, and somewhat of a possessionary interest at the same time of making of the contract. You have to go back and watch the straw man for beginners and see what I was talking about. But being black, being white, being Asian, being African American, being Native American, being Chinese American or Asian American, all of those are statuses, and they are not the real individual person. It's just something that they've created um, for the purpose of handling uh, taxation. Everything that we deal with is a tax too. So your status determines what and how you're taxed. Another video maybe in deeper detail for that, but the U.S. citizen or the whatever status that they create that you have went through your whole life voluntarily doing it because that's what you were taught that you were. For me, that's what I was taught that I was. And this may be new information. So this is the reason for this video today too, and be reading some things in a different language that you probably wouldn't understand. So it's not a foreign language in a sense, but it's written in legal languages. And so as you can see how they handle with the straw man, in order for the government to really interact with those of the private or to deal with the God like people, then they have to have this front created because it is a corporation. And once you learn more about this or watch some of my other videos about the truth about HJR 192 or what is wealth or what are trusts, you have to go through my YouTube channel and find those things as well. You'll find out the U.S. is just a corporation that operates and have other corporations that they deal with to handle their business. A lot of them have the name federal, even though they are not federal. They have it in their name. Like the IRS is not federally owned or federally controlled. It is their own entity working for the U.S. corporation, federal government that we have that is mimic with their state government. So, real quick, when you learn about in the passport process that we have about the national passport and correcting your status, and those are one of the steps in correcting your status, you'll find out that you're given citizenship at birth as an American citizen. Either you're first a state citizen, and at the same time you are a federal citizen. Those are, the state is what you were born into of your nationality, but the federal citizenship is tacked on as well by by way of birth certificate and social security. Even though the state recorded, these things have already been handed over to the feds. And as you learn more and more about it, you'll see how the federal government has their reach into the state and how these things apply. So bringing it to the jurisdiction of the federal government. Your mailbox is one way as well. The U.S. Postal Service is actually a federally governed or another federally outsourced entity handling functions for the U.S. corporation. And the U.S. corporation, as I was saying earlier, is no more than a 10-mile square in Washington, Puerto Rico, Guam, Samaria, and a couple more other places like that. But it's not the all 50 states. It only can reach to certain places where it has its subdivision or it has its rights to be there, given to the states, given by the states to them. And so, like I was saying earlier, their outreach goes into the monies. It's one of the biggest ways that they use it into the state and how they fund the state for certain things. And if you watch anything about the political world or anything that goes on the news and other stuff, when the federal government comes in and makes a lot of these mandates, if you watch it close enough in COVID 19 or the pandemic area of COVID-19, you can see that some states still buck the federal government, and which they had the right to do. And so the only thing the federal government could do was hold their monies from them, but they had no way to enforce that, whatever they were trying to enforce upon the state, if the state didn't want to enforce it upon the people. Okay. So, um, and so in the status correction and a few of the steps, I'm not going to give you all of them. You got to join the private membership to get the rest of those. And that isn't all for the YouTube world, but these right here is things that I'm going to put out, videos to put out to show the type of information that we have and the success that we have in um, taking these steps and separating yourself from the straw man and correcting your status. The passport, getting your passport as natural is one of them. The power of attorney is another one that we have, and it'll be separate from this one that we will read into today. I think it's in this security agreement, another contractual based thing. Um, the name change decree, and a few other things. But this right here, this is just so as I feel like it's better for a lot of people that whenever they get in the group, they have a bunch of questions. They may be interested in this and buy out a curi or donate and become members into the in the Circle University and still have a bunch of questions and stuff like this that I'll be sharing today and other literature that you'll get once you become a full-time private member. That just read over the information and look up the words that you don't know. Look them up in law dictionaries such as the Black Law Dictionary, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. I think it's up to the 11th edition now. But reading them in there in the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, you'll see the Uniform Commercial Code integrated in all your state laws as for statutes and in the codes. You can find them wherever they are. So if you see a certain thing at the end of the video, I'll show you um, the places, the words, and the definitions that you can get from the UCC. And you can look up that word and look it up and say that, like, I'm in South Carolina. What does South Carolina um, code of law, or what does South Carolina law say it says about an accommodating party, or what do they say about contract law, things of that nature. And you can also find it. But the Uniform Commercial Code is to have it more so unified in almost all 50 states. There's a couple of states, I think it's Massachusetts and somebody else, that doesn't conform to the UCC or don't use the UCC. But you're going to find this information codified everywhere else. So if it's your first time hearing about it and doing it, it may shock and surprise you. But I'm going to say, don't let it get you too bothered up, because we have remedy for you. We have resolution for you, so as you can correct a lot of things and get them going. So, with that being said, I'm going to read one of the security agreements that we suggest that you have, even though it will be recorded in other places. Like I said, I'm not going to give up that information. You have to be in the meeting to find out when, what, and how to go about it. But this is just good information you to have with your private as well, and have it put up and kept with your other paperwork and your other things. Okay, so before we jump right into that, when we talked about contracts earlier, applications are the contract. When you fill out an application for a loan, that is the contract. If you look over the contract or look over the application, you're going to see the things that they're offering, things for you to that you'll basically be obligated to do for is paying back when you'll pay back on a certain amount or how long you'll be paying it back and the penalties that apply when you don't do it. Same thing with a mortgage. Or whenever you apply for the birth certificate and social security card, that is the application. And with that, it allows you to be able to receive more benefits from the government. And so, whenever you receive benefits from the government, you're going to give up a lot of your private privileges. So, you're trading your privilege, your God given privilege, which the Constitution protects those God given privileges or rights, more so rights. I apologize. You're trading in your rights for benefits and privileges. Like they tell you that driving isn't a right, it is a privilege. And there are certain other things that you do inside or you will have in your everyday parliament for conducting your life day to day that they consider a privilege and a benefit. But when God has given us power and given us dominion over our life and our family and our assets. But anyway, we're going to show you how to return back to God at In the Circle University. That's what we do, help you return back to God and return back to Him that first loved you and set up your life and structure your life to go out and retain your God given rights and trade back in your benefits and privileges. And one of the great things about it is that um, you have the right to be left alone, and so you have the right to be God all by yourself and to do things and not have to worry about the interference of the government or anyone else outside of it. It is your private right. Anyway, let's go. Let's get into it. I'm gonna try to. I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna go away for a minute, all because I want the wording and the document to be all the way up on the screen, and so that way we won't have to worry about me being in the picture or say, okay, this is a commercial security agreement. So as I go through and read this too, I'll be basically telling you how to fill this out. When we go, like I say, in the private membership, we go over this in deeper detail, and but I'm just putting it out here in the YouTube world so you can understand and have an understanding of what's going on. Maybe new to some and maybe old to others, but as I said before, at Inner Circle University, we have a way of actually separating yourself and correcting your status from the straw man and owning nothing and controlling everything. So um, if we get through here some of the verbiage, like I say, that sounds new to you, go look them up and find them out for the sake of the video. I'm just going to run through at the end of some definitions and tell you where to go look and find them and do your own homework and do your own research because it's better for you to get an overstanding. Right now, I'm just introducing you to an understanding from my overstanding. And once you get an overstanding, then a lot more of the process and the things that you'll be involved with because you're going to have a lifestyle change and you're going to have to operate your life in a different manner. But don't be afraid or don't get nervous because there's no more than what you've been doing now. You're just going to be God and more accountable and more aware of the things that you're doing. Our people perish for the lack of knowledge. And now you will have knowledge, oversight, and overstanding about a thing so as you can make better informed decisions about how you go about structuring your life and living out your life. So this is a commercial security agreement, and most agreements always have identifier that's outside of the name. So the number, you see JHD is John Henry Doe, or you may see Jane Doe. So wherever you see that at, that will be yours. Your information will go there, and also you would notice the styling of it, and it's all capital. That is how the corporations is. If you look on your birth certificates, driver license, or your social security card, you'll see that those things are in all caps. If you look at any governmental entity that you deal with, and whether it's from the DMV to Social Security, or whatever it is, they're gonna always be in all caps. And if you ever been in any legal situations and dealing with the courts, they're gonna be in all caps. That is the dummy corporation. That is the straw man. That is the corporation. And GPO style manual is another thing you better look at and find out more information on why they use the stylings that they use for. But when you learn to write your name, you learned it, and your mom and dad taught you your name, and they taught you to write it, and what they call it, the Christian Appalachian, something like that. But uh, give me for butchering it, but it's in the correct way. Uppercase, first letter, lowercase, the rest of the letters. And if it's your middle name, it's the first letters capitalized, and the rest of your middle name lowercase. Your last name is capitalized at the first letter and lowercase at the rest of it. So that is the representation you will have of the God person that you are, or the real live individual that you are. Um, so it says commercial security agreement, number John Henry Doe, and you can use about whatever convention you want to dash security agreement. Most time it's um, like some of the things I did take away from some of my earlier learnings, and then you can have more like your birth date right there, signifying the reason for the security agreement. Non-negotiable, non-transferable. That meaning that this security agreement is made and this contract is made in between two persons, two individuals, two entities, and it is non-negotiable and non-transferable, meaning that it can't be passed on to no one else. It's just what it is, and it's filed for record. The parties is the debtor, U.S. administrative vessel held in trust in the Depository Trust Company (DTC), John Henry Doe, and all derivatives thereof. Meaning that you look at a lot of times when you deal with government, not even just with the government, whenever you're dealing with credit card people and other things, you'll find how they deviate your name. You may give them your name um, in the right style, upper and lowercase, and they come back with your name in all caps. They may sometimes leave out your middle name. Sometimes they may just use your middle initial. So those are called uh, and all derivative. Them a derivative of the name, how they've changed and altered it. At 55 Water Street, New York, 10 141. Read it how you want to, but 10, that's still the address. Okay, I'm gonna spell it up for my purpose and for yours as well. I'm gonna try to make the picture a little larger. And you will have the secure party, executor, administrator. Look up those two words too, because they deal with trust. You have the executor of a trust, or the administrator, or the authorized representative. But a secure party is something else you'll find later on in the bottom of the at the end of the document, and also you can look it up in the UCC. But a secure party is the one that holds the note of indebtedness. And so, before we go further with that, secure party is the one that can put the lien on you. They're the ones that can bind you from your promissory note to hold you to it, and actually place a lien on you because he holds the promissory note. In a mortgage, you have to have the mortgage, which is the agreement, and then you will have your promissory note, the promise to pay with the terms and conditions on it. And the way it should work in any court proceedings or foreclosure or anything else, that the mortgage company or the servicer should have they have to stay together, and there's case law to to prove that as well, and support that you must have those two. That makes you the holder in due course. That is the secured party, is the holder in due course. That's another word you may hear us talk about here as well. But the secured party administrator, executor administrator, and you see the styling that it's written in, and the way that it's written is written in the correct styling, John Henry Doe, and it's copyrighted, and the carry of the address and things of that nature there. And it also has, like addresses, places of the straw man. And so, without prejudice, UCC 1-207 and UCC dash, UCC 1-308. Other things you can look up and see how you reserve your rights and all those things. And so, let me go down here so I can scroll it up. And this right here is a part of the contract. As I talked about earlier, most contracts, you're going to have terms and conditions. And with the terms and conditions, it gives the other individual the opportunity for acceptance. And with that acceptance, after you have certain parts of the contract that are that makes it a binding contract and the parties agree upon it, then you have a lawful contract. So in this agreement, it says here that this security agreement is made and entered into on 1/24/2021, and whatever when we get into class we'll talk about those dates, but I'm just saying it has a date here. This is more of a template that I'm showing you now, and there'll be other changes that be made that we'll show you inside of the membership as well. But anyway, let me continue. This security agreement is made and entered into on 1/24/2021 between the real man, John Henry Doe, copywritten, executor, and administrator, hereafter known as the secured parties, and the juristic person, strawman, dummy corporation, LLC, U.S. administrative vessel, John Henry Doe, hereinafter known as the debtor. So all these things here is what your strawman is. It's a juristic person. It is not a real person. It is fictitious. And you can look that word up too. If it's not down at the bottom, I think that it should be in the definition section. It is a dummy corporation, as we talked about in the straw man. What is your straw man for beginners? It is a front. A dummy corporation is another word for front. It's also LLC, and it's also a U.S. administrative vessel because that's who created the straw man through the process of your parents being informed and signing the certificate of live birth, and it is turned into the birth certificate. The birth certificate is on bond paper, and it is created by the same company that create the money. So that's another thing to think about as well. So you will have this U.S. administrative vessel to handle and to navigate and to be able to receive those privileges and rights. Okay, but hereinafter known as the debtor, and this should be. I apologize. This should be. No, therefore, it is hereby agreed as follows. In consideration for the security parties agreeing to provide certain collateral and goods identified herein below and certain accommodation to the debtor, including but not limited to allowing the debtor to act as an agent, utilized for the purpose of transmitting commercial activities for the benefit of the secured party to the extent that context otherwise required, for the purpose of conducting traffic and commercial activity as a pipeline for the transmissions of goods. And this is what I was talking about earlier too, and I'm going to get right back to it. Just remember my spot here. If when we're talking about the straw man for beginners, about it being a transmitting utility, and a transmitting utility is I'm not gonna get to the definition of it, but it is a facility or a factory or something like that that uses electronics to transmit stuff. And so this is what it's been used for. The strawman is also used as the transmitting utility. Sorry about that. I hope my speaker didn't mess up too bad. Okay, as a pipeline for the transmission of goods and chattel property and paper, and as security for payment of all sums due or to become due or owing by debtor to secured party. Debtor hereby grants to secured party for valuable consideration a security interest in the collateral described thereon herein below and agrees to provide to secured party indemnification bond also contained herein below, securing the indebtedness, and agrees that the secured party shall have the rights stated in the agreement with respect to the collateral, in addition to all other rights which the secured party may have by law. And so these right here are some of the terms and conditions, and it's talking about um, valuable consideration. So there's a lot of the equitable interest and some of the possessionary interest being transferred over to the secured party from the straw man or the dummy corporation. Um, so, and the identification is whole, homeless, and identifying identification bond is another part of the contract as well, where the secured party is held basically legally free from obligation from anything that happens or have been done or acquired through the dummy corporation. But we're talking about that in another segue in another video, um, because we have those as well too inside the private membership. But into this security agreement here, you're gonna see a bunch of things stated in a more, um, I'm gonna say, a smaller version of the things you'll get inside of the group. The security interest granted herein secures any and all indebtedness and liabilities whatsoever owed by the debtor to secured party, whether direct or indirect, absolute or contingent, due or become due, now existing and hereafter evident. The security interest is also given to secure any other debts which may be owed by debtor to secured party from time to time as stated herein below. Let me get my screen right again. I apologize. And this is the collateral. These are the things off the collateral and certain things about the collateral. Hold on. All collateral, chatter rights, chatter paper, general intangible, inventory equipment, and fixtures without owned, whether owned or acquired later, all accessions, additions, replacements, and substitution, all records of any kind relating to any of the foregoing, all proceeds, including insurance, funds, general intangible, and account proceeds, together with all the other real and personal property, with all and singular the improvement ways, suites, alleys, driveway, passages, watercourse, rights, liberties, privileges, herdiments, and appurtenance. Learn those two words too. There's one's about inheritance, and the other one is the hereditaments. That's about inheritance that's gained, and I think the appurtenance is the things like buildings and structures that's grandfathered in on property that comes with the property. Say that you may not own the property, but you have a building or something there, and that's what that's speaking about. Whatsoever thereunto belonging or in any wise appertaining, and the revision and reminders, rent issues, and profit. Learn what revision and reminders are, remainders are as well. Rents, issues, and profits thereof, and all estate rights, title, interest, policies, claim, and demand, whosoever claim and demand whatsoever of the said debtor in law, equity, or otherwise, however, or in and to the same in every part thereof, including but not limited to the following. For the sake of the video, there's some of this document I did hold back because it will be something that you'll get later on, and it's too much teaching to go into it. But it goes into a deeper part about the collateral that the straw man would have attained in its name, whether it's John Henry Doe or the Jane Doe. Um, and that goes from everything that you have in that name. And so we're going to start up here at all fiat money, bank accounts, checking and saving, investments, etc. All properties is accepted for value and is exempt from levy, meaning it's exempt from them putting a lien on. Um, Adjustments of this filing from public policy HAR 192, public law 73-10, law the law of trust and South Carolina Code 31-1-308 since 2016. All proceeds, products, accounts, and fixtures, and the orders therefrom are released to the secured party, United States vessel, and all account information held by the Federal Reserve Bank Depository Trust Company and the United States Department of the Treasury by power of attorney is hereby revoked, and all trustees are fired due to the several counts of bankruptcy, obstruction, nomination, and appointed trustees is transferred to the secured party authorizing agent, also known as the authorizing governmental contracting agent. All proceeds, products, accounts, fixtures, and the orders therefrom are released to the secured party, United States vessel, and all account information held is now transferred to the secured party, authorized agent, also known as the authorized governmental contracting agent. John Doe Henry, organized trade name, trademark, trust, debtor. So it talks about here real quick the things, as I was telling you earlier, once you understand the things that happen, once you get that birth certificate and social security card, that the United States Corporation, or whenever you see the all capital U.S. and states all capital, is that corporation is basically a trust. Um, and if you learn a little bit more and gain this concept that the Constitution and the things that makes up the Constitution and what else I'm thinking about? All of them are indenture agreements. They are trust agreements. They're the indenture agreements for the trust, and everything, every person, or this or small corporation or U.S. citizen that's created out of the birth certificate, social security card, or subsidiary trust. If I'm saying that right, they're small trusts created by one big trust. That this trust created all these other trusts, and these trusts EINs numbers are your social security number, and the name of the trust is your name, straw man name in all caps. So, furthermore, teaching and that inside of the group. But for now, we're gonna carry on because I didn't know I was in it as long as I have been in it, and I have a YouTube video to actually do this evening. But this is the indemnity clause I was talking about, the whole harmless and indemnity clause. And so we're going to run through it real quick, or the best that we can. Know that all men by these present, that I, John Henry Doe, debtor, am held firmly bound to John Henry Doe, the secure party, executor, administrator, and the sum of the present collateral values and all debts or losses claimed by any and all persons against the commercial transactions and investments of aforesaid collateral, um, up to the penal sum of $100 million, lawful money of the United States, for the payment of which will and truly be made. I bind myself by my heirs, executor, administrators, and third party assigned jointly and severally and firmly by these present. The condition of the above bond is that there, uh, whereas the collateral described wherein above and utilized for the purpose of transmitting goods and commercial activities by the debtor or in pursuance of the statutes in such case made, provided and indentured to the secured party by which indenture and said debtor covenant to do certain things in this agreement. Conditions of this obligation are such that if secured party suffers any loss or vested rights in the said collateral property or monetary losses due to the debts claimed against the aforesaid collateral property, or the debtor who binds himself by his obligation to make advance payments from debtor's U.S. Treasury account and established under the IMB BMF, this is the other thing, that I was talking about. I will go back and take care of this later. This right here will be deleted. Anyway, temporarily permitted and correct account to any and all who have debt claims against any of the collateral or vested rights, except collateral of secured party. This obligation shall bind the debtor in fully and faithfully comply with all applicable provisions of law. Excuse me. This bond shall affect as of the date hereon. This bond, uh, I messed it up. Check this out while I'm at it. Yeah, so you can see me edit it live. And that way, when I go back and save it back in here, I won't have it already jacked up. It shall go into effect as it shall go into effect as of the date hereon and shall remain in full force and effect until the surety secured party is released from liability by the written order of the United States government, and provided that the debtor may conceal this bond at any time and be relieved of further liabilities hereunder by delivery within 30 days written notice to the secured party. Such cancellation shall not affect any bond before the end of the 30 days prior for an amount equal to or greater than the value of this instrument unless the parties agree otherwise. And that same thing, an instrument they're talking about, we will talk more about it to the private. So you have to let your curiosity get you on over here. Okay, the debtor identifying party without the benefit of discussion or division, does hereby agree, covenant, and undertake to indemnify, defend, and hold the secured party, identified party, harmless from and against any all claim losses, liabilities, costs, interest, and expenses hereinafter referred to as a claim, including without restriction all legal costs, interest, penalties, and 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 fines suffered or inquired occurred by the secured party arising as a result of the secured party having its personal guarantee with respect to any loan or general indebtedness of the debtor, including without in any way restricting the generality of the foregoing amount owing by the debtor or creditors. The indemnity party, secured party surety, shall promptly advise the identifying party debtor of any claim or provide the same with full details thereof, including copies of any document, correspondence, suit, or actions received by or served upon the identifying party, secured party. The identified party, secured party, shall fully cooperate with the identifying party's debtor in any discussion, negotiation, or other proceedings related um, to any claim. And I'm gonna scroll through this for the sake of time. Um, so we're at the obligation of debtor, and going on down. I'm gonna scroll through, so you have to watch the video and slow it down and read it yourself. I'm not gonna read through with you, but here we go. It talks about the organization, the authorization, perfection of security interest, and enforceable of collateral, enforceability of collateral, removal of collateral, transactions and solving collateral, title, maintenance and inspection of collateral, taxes, assessments, and liens. As I said before, these are the things you can read later, pause it, take notes. Join the meeting and really get into a deep discussion about it. Join the private membership where we get in deeper in depth discussion. Compliance with governmental requirements, debtor's right to possession, expenditures by secured party, subordination of debtor's debt to secured party, miscellaneous provision, amendments, applicable law, attorney fees, expenses, notices, interrogation. I meant to say interpretations. I apologize. Severability, waiver, and also we have down here the default. Event of default, debtors, indebtedness, related documents, event of default, default of indebtedness, other default, false statement, defective collateralization, insolvency, creditor proceeding, events after debtors, insecurity, rights and remedies of default, accelerate indebtedness, assemble collateral, sell the collateral, appoint receiver, collect revenue, apply account, attain deficiencies, other rights and remedies, cumulative remedies, sell the collateral, appoint receiver, collect revenue, apply account, attain deficiencies, other rights and remedies, cumulative remedies, and the power of attorney. So we'll read through this real quick before we get to the definitions. I have to get off here. The power of attorney, debtor hereby authorize and appoint secured party to act as debtor, agent, and or attorney in fact, irrevocable, with full power of substitution to do the following: endorse all documents, instruments, license, permits, notes, checks, drafts, and money orders, or any type of nature, to demand, collect, receive, receipt for, sue, and recover all sums of money or other properties which may now or hereinafter become due, owing, or payable to the debtor. Execute, sign, and endorse any and all claims, instruments, receipts, checks, drafts, or warrant issued in payment for the collateral. D. To settle or comprise, or let's say compromise any and all claims, and to file any claim or claims, or to take any actions of institute or take part in any proceedings, either in his advised in his own name or in the name of the debtor, or otherwise, which is in the description of the secured party, may seem to be necessary or advisable. In addition, the signature of secured party on any instrument, license, permit, or any other document now existing or hereinafter arises, upon which the name of the debtor is, however evident, is hereby the authorized signature of secured party as agent representing debtor. In addition, the secured party may, on behalf or and in the name of the debtor, receive, open, and dispose of mail address to debtors and change any address to which mail and payments are to be sent. This power is given as security for the indebtedness, and the authority hereby conferred is and shall be irrevocable and shall remain in full force and in effort until renounced by the secured party in writing. So that right there is the power of attorney I was talking about. And this is how you separating and securing the straw man. You're controlling the straw man. You have control over it. But that's for a little deeper talk and maybe another video. But I'm gonna go through here and you can see. I hope it's not showing all this other stuff on the screen that's popping up. Hey, definition and glossary of terms. As used in this security agreement, the following words and terms shall have meaning ascribed to them in this section. None obstain obstinate from Black Law's Dictionary and Uniform Commercial Code. And you'll learn and notice too that anytime you're dealing with the government in certain ways, if it's from your taxes to the Social Security, the birth certificate, your driver license, they have definitions of what these words mean. So, like I was talking earlier about that being the actual contract, the application being the contract, they tell you what the word means for that specific contract or that specific application, which is the contract, and that goes along with you receiving those privileges or benefits, and how your signature says that you are agree with it. And most of the time you deal with those things, they have you to sign the oath or to sign at the end of an oath. That's swearing that you're telling the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth in a sense. But these are the words as I go through. You can go, and I'm going to scroll through again like I did before, and you can go check these words out. The accommodation party. You can find out where they are in the black laws in the UCC. You have to do that homework on the video and search it yourself. But I got it up here. You can search it out as the video goes. If you need to pause it and see where and look them up in the black laws or the UCC. The accounts, the agent, agreement, artificial person. That's another good one to find out. The Bailey, find out what the beneficiary is. And they may not have it in here, but you have a Bailey and a Baylor. Find out what those two are. That has a lot to do with the debtor and the debtor, the secured party and the debtor. Beneficiary, buyer, chargeback, chatter paper is another good one to learn. Find out what a claim is as well. And it has some of the writing definition here. But like I say, do your due diligence in your own homework. I'm just giving you a good place to start. I hopefully get the wheels turning for you. Collateral, contract right, creditor, currency, derivative, debt, debtor, uh, delegation of performance, delivery, documents of title, dummy corporation. And there's a whole spiel on it with a bunch more legal stuff that talks about that. So that would be a good spot for you to stop and read. Go check out these case laws in the federal government places um and read their decisions and read what the court said about it and learn to read case law. So that you can read what's been said by the plaintiff and the defendant, however, and um and see what the court says about it and what their decisions were made upon it. And that is what we know now is common law. It's court decided. That's real common law now. And so the courts have upheld a bunch of the common. You hear this phrase a lot. And I heard it a lot coming through earlier about the common law, how we're under common law, we're up under the common law, and it was misconstrued as like God given laws or natural laws, and a lot a lot of that was a lot of talking and not a lot of understanding, but there was a whole lot of teaching going with it. So do know that the common law is what the courts has decided on certain things. So when you're in a court of common law or you're dealing with the courts, if you're not in a court of equity, um, you're going to be dealing with it's going to either be civil or um, civil in nature, or it's going to be equitable in nature, in a sense. So most time you're dealing with that, and that has common law or maritime law, some other things. Um, but the common law is basically the law or the court's decision and how the courts have been deciding and what they said about it. So we could talk later on about the common law that we would know or we would think would be common law, but actually what common law is. But read that. The dummy corporation, duty and care, contractual limitations, general intangible, good, entrusting, incapacity, indebted, indemnities, indemnity, instruments, items, juristic person. Find out what that juristic person is, what we talked about earlier, the straw man being a juristic person, you know, and it has a bunch of stuff for you to read about here in case law and cases that support the same definition. Why this is in here is pretty clad type. Okay, liabilities, money, natural person, negotiable, non-negotiable, non-obstinate, notice, on demand, organizations, party, persons, proceeds, properties, real man, registered form, remedy for breach of collateral, remedy of indemnity, representative, rights of reimbursement, rights acquired or identity, secured secondary party, secured party, surety, security interest, seller, signature, signed, straw man, surety, and transferable and value. Those are the things that you'll learn about and get your a lot of information. And if you just went through this video and didn't listen to me, went through and searched and looked up these words and location that they say they are in, you will have a lot of studying to do, but you will gain a lot of oversight. So I advise you also to go over through this video, read over this document, read over these forms, read over these definitions and where they come from black laws, all the way to the UCC. But for now, I gotta get off of here. Like I said, I stayed on longer than, well, it's really shorter than I expected. Figured that if we did much longer than I read through all of that, it may bore people to death, but it also gives me an opportunity to come on later on for questions. So leave your comments, your likes and your comments, and subscribe to the channel as well. If this is something new or if it's something old, um, when the video is uploaded on YouTube, you better share your comments. I welcome. Just like I said before on any of my other videos, know how to talk to people, know how to say things. You can say about whatever, but we don't do it negative and down talk. You can keep feelings and emotions out of it. Um, so do it. We'll get back to you. We'll comment on it. We can have other videos. I comment up under this video and things of that nature. But for now, I want to say cheers to you for sticking with me this long. I want to thank you for taking time out and investing in yourself, because everything that we do here on this channel is not only just my experience and thing, but it's for your self-improvement. You're searching, you're looking for something yourself. And so investing in yourself, your time is the most valuable thing that you have. So with that, I didn't want to waste any of your time and give you any information or anything that I have not done and accomplished myself. I have my security agreements. I have a lot of more other things inside of that document that if you have a lot of oversight, you'll be able to see what it's for, what it's doing, and how to operate it and found in the right places as well. But thank you for joining In the Circle Ministries. Until the next time we come and meet again, say peace to the God and to the goddesses. You have a great day.